4 degrees and still can't get a job. BA in communication, BA in Spanish, BFA in dance. Get ready for this one. Master's degree in freaking journalism. Mind you, I've gotten laid off not once, not twice, but 3 times in the span of 2 years. So if you're feeling behind, just know you're not alone. Basically, we're all cooked.
Not really. I mean, I think it's obvious. I think those degrees aren't really, marketable. Like dance, Spanish, I mean, I appreciate her getting the Spanish one. I would love to have done that, but that's a personal thing. That's a personal project. That's something that isn't going to guarantee you any appreciable sort of income to replace or to fund those loans that you took for those 4 degrees. We have to be more discerning about the degrees we're getting, and I get it. We told you go to school, right? We told you go to school, that increase, your chances, that increase your income, that increase your value. But in reality, that's really not the case. Society has sort of moved on from that and said those degrees are great. Congratulations, you can hang them on your wall, but I'm not hiring you because you have a BFA in dance, right? That you have a master's in something that we consider largely useless. Like, if you have like a degree in architecture, not architecture, archaeology, it's like, okay, that's not going to give you the six-figure income that you're looking for. At best, you can go back to school and teach. But again, that's where we have an incongruent dream with reality. Reality is telling you these are the things we're paying you for. These are the things we value. These are the things that are important to society as a whole, as society changes and functions. We are saying, I still want to do what I want. And then we're shocked when we're not paid for it, when we're not appreciated for it. So, we'll run this one back. And this is a topic on the channel that we talk about a lot, or that has gotten some decent attention from some of you guys on here, just about degrees, and are they largely useless today, or is it more or less you need to specialize in what you decide to do? I'm a proponent of I like college. I like what it used to stand for. I think there are issues that we currently have with it, but exposing people to the arts, exposing people to tracks and thoughts and beliefs that challenge their own and help them expand their belief system, I think the old ways of college made sense. But right now, when it's just, I don't want to call them diploma mills because they cost money, but they're not really useful. Some degrees are more useful than others, and some degrees even more so. So if we're not in that track to get the ones that are even more so, are we wasting our time in college? Are we largely setting ourselves up for like this young woman is talking about? So, before I continue to ramble on, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. And let's run this one back.
Can someone explain to me how I have 4 degrees and still can't get a job? BA in communication, BA in Spanish, BFA in dance. Get ready for this one. Master's degree in freaking journalism.
It's funny. I met a former journalist not too long ago. I was on a flight. She's a flight attendant now, and we were talking and sort of commiserating about how reading is sort of a dying sort of sport or art, or something like 25 to 26. I think she quoted something like 28% of people actually read books today. Not audibles, not summarized books, like actual reading books. And you know, I inquired, okay, what did you do before this? I was a journalist. She said the same thing like this woman was talking about. She was fired at least 2 different times, and she said, she had enough of that, so she became a flight attendant. Um, so yeah, I completely believe what she's saying here. I I mean, you see how much journalists actually make on TV. How much, not journalists, news anchors, right? News personalities, how much they make, how much, because they can draw that attention, and attention is one of the areas that are going to continue to pay you. Not that you can dance, not that your Spanish is, from an accredited sort of college. But if we're not taking the time to say, to look and tell our children, there's what you're passionate about, there's what you enjoy, what gets you out of the bed in the morning, what colors your world. And then there's what's going to allow you to feed your potential family. what's going to allow you to move through society and not have to worry about robbing Peter to pay Paul or robbing Con Edison, to pay Nat Grid for those in New York. Shout out to New York. Um, it's just this is a different society than ones that our parents and grandparents grew up in, where there was loyalty when you with a company. Now, with the advent of AI increasing in leaps and bounds, and sometimes it's hard to see things like that when you're in the middle of it, when it's happening in your time, in your generation, seeing just how advanced this thing is happening. It'll be for the next generation or two generations from now to look back and say, look where it started and look where it went and look how many years it took for that to happen. Completely small amount of time and how many people were displaced because of it. If we also have a thought that society is going to care and pump the brakes, and I think society or some governments as a whole, they're holding back with some technologies because it would completely bottom out the workforce. But you can only hold back, that water. It's not an efficient dam. A lot of this is going to come out, especially as companies get hold of some of this tech, because they're more concerned with the bottom line, not with how many employees they have. So when that's always going to be the case, linking it back to what she's saying here, when you don't go into the game early, understanding the rules, understanding the outcomes and what's going to give you a better outcome than most, you end up following your passions because that was the old message. And not even just the old message, it's still the message. We have, more women with degrees than men. True. Now we have to say, what's the quality of those degrees? Is essentially just a piece of paper and college debt, because some of these degrees don't advance your career. And I get that, right? I got my master's because I wanted to get my master's, not because it was good for my career. And I'll probably do the same thing with a doctorate just because I've always wanted to do it. But it has to be at the right time and place with the full understanding this may not be the thing that catapults you. This may just be a lost leader. You're not going to get any type of real revenue from this. You may get more eyes on you, more people have to call you Dr. Easy, and that sounds kind of cool. But this isn't going to move the needle except for, the one in here, the egotistical needle. Outside of that, you know, a lot of us are, like she said at the end, a lot of us are cooked. If you already have multiple degrees in not a useful field, yeah, yeah, you might be a little cooked. You might be a little cooked. Let her finish this one.
Mind you, I've gotten laid off not once, not twice, but 3 times in the span of 2 years. So if you're feeling behind, just know you're not alone. Basically, we're all cooked.
Yeah, some of us are going to be cooked, and some of us have time to pivot, time to learn new skills. This isn't something that you can't force. Was that quote? You can't fight City Hall. You can't force society to say you should value this more than you currently do. That's not it. If you think I missed something, let me know. Take a look at some of the videos that maybe on your screen right now. You click them, might go over there, have a good time. If you've already seen it, go ahead, watch it again. Right? You may learn something new. I'll see you guys in the next one.